If you're still thinking to rent or should you buy, this video is for you. Because in this video, we're gonna dive in with the lender who's gonna break down all the advices that we can imagine or information that we're looking, especially if you're renting and you wanna buy it. This video is definitely for you. So you might want to stay tuned and watch this video till the end. Are you guys ready to dive in? So before we start, let me introduce myself. My name is Alek Petrov. I'm here, your local real estate agent here in Southwest Florida. So if you have any questions or if you have any concerns or if you're looking for more information about Southwest Florida, give me a call. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. But let me introduce Alek. Alek is one of the lenders that I work with, and he's an amazing guy. He breaks down all the information that you need in order for you if you want to buy a house, and a lot of people are on the edge right now talking about the market crash. So we're gonna cover all the topics. Are you guys ready? Let's dive in. Alek, welcome back to my channel. I'm super happy to see you back. As of now, as what we're seeing in the next few months, in the next 6 months, what do you think? What's happening with the market?
Yeah, that's a great question. We get asked that every single day, and everybody's always trying to time the market. The one thing that you'll never ever do is you'll never time the market. You could get lucky, but in theory, it's impossible to time it. Yeah. So here's the thing. When you look at, 2020, 2021, we saw home prices go up dramatically, completely unexpected based on the fact
that the percent dropped.
Yeah, rates dropped, and for the most part, the amount of money that flooded the U.S. was insane, and because of that, we a lot of people back then said for sure houses are crashing, everything's crashing, but the opposite happened. And now we are seeing the Fed, which went from having the lowest rates ever to some of the highest rates we've ever seen. Now, the crazy thing is everybody expected housing to crash again, but it didn't. And I want to explain why. Very, very, very basic supply and demand. So in theory, should have housing crashed when rates tripled? Yes, but it didn't. Why? Because the demand and the supply remained the same, on the same level. As the demand for housing dropped because buying power and everything and rates went down, the people listing went down as well. Why? Because if you have a 2.5% rate, why would you list? Home builders put projects on hold, and in general, the typical average amount of homes on the market got cut in half because of a couple different factors, rates being one, buildings slowing down being the other, and so forth. And in theory, because people that normally move up were like, well, if I have a 2.5% rate, I really, do I really not like my house that much? I'd rather remodel. And so because of this, we've seen inventory at some of the lowest levels ever, and it's kept prices pretty steady. Now, of course, there's, seasonality and typically in the fall, you could work a deal. And of course, there's your occasional person that lists a home for way more than it's ever worth and then drops their price down. You have outliers everywhere, but here's the fact. If you look at the average home price in America, so we're not talking about just Florida, which Florida, one of the hottest markets around is Florida. And because the demand is so high in Florida, the amount of people moving there is so high, the amount of people buying rentals, investments is so high. Since the demand is so high, Florida has been almost just completely it's been solid, right? Like you've seen no housing issues, right? Now, yes, again, the home that's overpriced, the unique scenarios, but for the most part, it's been solid. So when you look at overall nationwide, the average home price from July of 2022 and July of 2023, there's actually a little bit of an increase. It's less than 1%, but it was an increase. There was no 15-20% drop. Now, let's talk about that, because a lot of people are, what would have to happen for home prices to go down, right? And then what would have to happen for home prices to go up? So if you look at the two different scenarios, number one is them going down. For them to go down, supply would have to jump up and demand would have to go down, which would happen under one scenario and one scenario only. The job market got completely screwed. We had unemployment rates at the highest levels. People just didn't have work, so they have to sell because they don't have to have work. and people don't want to buy because they don't have work. So if you had an extreme scenario where the job market, just got ugly, then yes, prices would come down. Because let's face it, we've already had high rates. We have high rates, and prices are not coming down. We haven't seen a 20% drop or anything like that. So because of that, it really has to do with jobs. Now, the one thing that the Fed, up until this point, and we can only talk about to this point because no one knows what's going to happen in the future, like I said, but up until this point, with everything that the Fed has done to slow down the economy, which a lot of people don't understand. They're like, what is the Fed doing? They're going to crash it. The Fed is trying to slow it down. So they're raising rates to slow things down. The one thing they have not been able to really do is slow down the job market. Unemployment rate continues to be at a low. Job openings continue to be at a high. No matter what they've done, the job market has been the strongest of everything. So what's the likelihood of a complete job crash? Anything could happen, but it's probably low. Now, on the flip side, what would have to happen for home prices to skyrocket? Well, demand would have to go up, right? Supply and demand. So supply, let's say, went up a little bit, but demand went up like crazy. You got crazy bidding wars, which right now bidding wars are still happening. Again, we talked about the outliers of the homes that are way overpriced or whatnot. But on the flip side, you have homes that are either really, really nice, like one of a kind, or they're a little underpriced. And what happens with those homes? Multiple offers. Today, still multiple offers. We see it weekly with our clients. And it's not just in one part of the country or another, it's everywhere. It depends on the home. So what would have to happen? Well, let's think about this for a second. Right now, with rates being in the high, in let's say the sevens, the highest they've been in like 28 years or something like that, or 27 years, you have a ton of people that first off, you have people that think it's a bad time to buy. So let's put them on this side, right? They think it's a bad time to buy. Then you have people that want to buy, but they can't because it's unaffordable. So they're on this side too. So overall, right now, the stat is 84% of people either think it's a bad time to buy or they can't afford it. 84% right here. So imagine what happens when rates drop and these 84% of people are paying the highest rents, record rents right now they've ever paid. So what happens? They move over to this side of the active buyers. Now, some people say, well, what about the people that are going to sell their home because now rates dropped and they're no longer waiting, so supply is going to go up? Yes, it will, because they're going to be selling their home, but that seller now became another buyer too. So you didn't add just a seller, most of them are buying their next home. So the demand increases and the supply increases. So if supply and demand both increase and you have a bidding war and you have way more buyers than you have sellers, no matter what's going on in the economy, you're gonna have higher prices. So when you look at right now and you look at the two sides, home prices coming down, home prices going up, and the two events, if you're betting that the job market's gonna completely crash, then you should wait. Which again, up until this point has been resilient. If you're betting on the fact that rates are gonna come down, which next year is an election year, rates cannot stay high forever. Rates are abnormally high right now. Just like when they were 2.5, they can't stay 2.5 forever. At 7.5, they can't stay 7.5 forever, right? The average normal rate should be in the 4s. That's normal, 4%. So imagine with rates, if you're betting on the fact the rates are going to come down next year or year after, we know that rates coming down is going to push these buyers over, these current people on the fence over to buyers. If we know that to be true, and if you're betting on rates coming down, then in theory, if you're trying to make a decision, and let's say you could afford to buy, which by the way, I'd never tell anybody that can't afford to buy to just buy a home. Like, you obviously have to be financially stable. You have to have a solid job. It has to be the right time for you, aside of what's going on in the market. But if it's right for you and you're trying to plan the market. Imagine when rates come down and you jump in, be ready to buy because rates are better and everybody else wants to buy too. Are you going to get a better deal at that point? So why are people buying today? The people that are buying today are betting on the fact that rates are going to come down. So they're buying today because while rates are high, they have less competition. With less competition, they're looking at the homes that have been sitting on the market and trying to negotiate, trying to get the seller to cover stuff. And it works some of the time. Sometimes it doesn't because it's a bidding war, but sometimes it works. So they're getting in now with the plan to refinance when rates drop down. Imagine if they go from 7.5 to 5, which is very likely in the next 2 years. It's very probable. If that happens, now they're dropping their payment down hundreds and possibly thousands of dollars a month, and they're dropping their payment down after they've bought. They're not in competition again. So what happened the last time we had a major disconnect between demand and supply? We saw that in the beginning of 2022, right when rates started to go up, and right when they were in the fours, between 4.25 and 4.75, we had homes. And for those of you that were a buyer during that time, you had to pay 100, 200, sometimes 300,000 more than list. In addition to that, there was a couple homes here in Washington that went for $1 million over. There was, I'm sure, homes in Florida that went way over, right? So think about that for a second. Is that a better environment to buy in the mid fours when you have demand here and supply here, or is it better to buy when you have supply and demand here? That's really what it comes down to. Supply, demand. What are you betting towards? A job collapse or rates to come down? And that's ultimately going to determine what's going to happen. Like you said, no one knows, but right now it looks like what's going to happen more likely than the other is the fact that rates will come down and it's going to be a bidding war and prices will come up next year when rates come down. Until then, depends on the home. And the people that are buying right now have every plan to refinance in the future. That's the strategy and that's the play that buyers are doing today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thanks, Alek, man. I appreciate it. Research shows that 80% of people regretting buying their home during that low percentage. Why? Because like you said, the demand was so low, and people like, okay, I'm pre-approved. I'm pre-approved for for X amount of dollars. I need to buy a house. Like I want to buy a house. I'm tired renting. I want to buy. They go in the market. They're overpaying that 50, 70, 100 grand, some $1 million overpriced, right? They're overpaying it. They're fighting for this house. In the end, to find out they don't like the location, they don't like to drive, they don't like some certain things about the house, but they had to, because what are the chances they're going to win the next bidding war? What are the chances they're going to find something in someone they're going to like it? Because like during that crazy time, like literally, this is what I had to do. We go in the house with the client, we'll look at it. I'm like, do you like it? Yeah, I love this house, blah, blah, but I will take it. I'm like, well, let me tell you something. By 7 p.m. today, if this is at noon, by 7 p.m., this house is going to be off the market. They're like, no. And I had to deal with a couple of clients like that and tell them like, are you serious? You got to be kidding me, right? I'm like, I'm telling you, it's just how it is. You got to put the offer in, and if you don't, it's done. And then another thing, it's like you're overbidding it. And if you have a budget for down payment, right, the 5%, 3.5%, 10%, whatever, but then you're overbidding it, another issue. The appraisal is not going to come in at that $500,000. Appraisal come in at $420,000. Now you got to, besides your down payment, now you got to pay another $80,000 out of your pocket to get this deal to the closing table. So what I tell my clients today, tell me what do you think, Alek, since you're more expertise on lending part, I always tell my clients this: if you're paying rent, I mean, if your credit score is good, you got everything set up, if your debt to ratio is good, right? You got everything in line to buy a house, and you have a down payment. There's different assistance that you can apply for, obviously, but you have a down payment on that 3.5%, then 3% for the closing. But right now we can negotiate with it, but just to have that, just in case. And I said, if you're paying rent $2,500 a month, and you're looking for a house that is $350,000, and your mortgage payment is gonna be $2,300. I'm like, think about it. But you buying it, you're gonna find a house that you love. Number one. Number two, you're gonna get. I'm sure you guys have programs that they can refinance later with you when the percent drops without any cost to you. So you find a home that you like. You're not bidding against anybody else. You're buying a house that's a low part of the prices, and you're not going against many other people fighting for this house. And then percent drops, you're in. You're
already in. Yeah, you're already in. You're not trying to get in during that time. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, and a lot of people that will be watching this, I mean, that they're wondering why would anybody buy? The answer is exactly that, because they want to avoid the bidding wars, and the bidding wars are they come and go in cycles, and the next bidding war cycle is coming, and they usually happen when rates drop. And while rates are so high right now, they're gonna drop, and the bidding wars will start again. So you said, you're 100% right. If you want more choices, if you don't want it to be a crazy emotional gut, need to make a decision now, can't, if you want to avoid all that, you want to avoid overpaying for the home, covering an appraisal gap, which a lot of people don't even know what that is, but that's essentially what you said. The difference between when a home doesn't pay appraise for as much as you're paying for it, you have to pay that difference in addition to your down payment. Bank's not going to cover that for you. And a lot of people, it's out of your pocket. And if you want to avoid all that and just be somebody that just casually refinances and drops their payment because they're already in, that's the reason why today versus later.
Yeah. I mean, I 100% agree with you. It is right now a buyer's market. Sellers, I have a sellers today too. I have sellers that we talk about it and they're like, you know what? I'd rather sell now and get a little bit less money for it, but then I'm going to choose what I want. I want to get out of HOA, home association area. I don't want to pay. I want to get a garage. I know, and they have different needs. And like, you know what? I'm done. I'm sick of living here, and I don't care. I'm not going to get 50, 100 grand more, 200 grand more, but at least I can buy a house that I want. And they have specific things they want, and it's so easy to find. I mean, right now closing a deal that's they're listed for X amount of money, and we are reduced it by $60,000 on the house just because we can negotiate and play with it, and that's how it is. If you guys have any questions, comment below. I'll be happy to answer. If you guys want to see any other videos from a lender, let me know. We'll get a recording it, and so we can send it out to you guys. But I know all you got to run. I appreciate for your time, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Alek.
I hope to see you in Florida so we can go fish together.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen. All right, thank you.
Guys. All right, okay. Bye.
Well, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it. Hope you stayed to the end. And if you find this video very helpful, please give me the like button, and please also share this video. Comment below if you have any questions, or if you want me to do any other video regards lending process, how to get things done. Comment below. I'll be more than happy to record it for you and send you a copy of it. But anyways, thank you so much again for watching, and go check out my other videos as well. There's tons of them. See which ones you like. Comment as well if you want to see any other things besides lending or tours or different communities. Comment below and go make one for you. All right, thank you guys. Bye bye.